Hey everybody, welcome back. Another episode of Up North Journal live here in the cabin tonight. We are, as usual, going to do a little sharing here, and then we'll get on with the show. We have our guest sitting on go. He is waiting and ready.
Waiting in the wings.
That's right. We got wings? Do we have wings?
Sure.
Okay. If you say so.
Told you.
That's good to know. Okay, so that device is updating. Nice.
Did you share that to the UNJ page? Is this on the UNJ page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, that's where it's at.
Okay.
It just takes a second for it to get there.
Yeah, I got it now.
So hopefully everybody's staying warm this weekend. Hopefully you're going to stay warm this week because it is going to be cold here in Michigan and other parts around the nation. So, not to mention the snow that's coming as well. It's going to be a cold one.
Show 502.
One more share and I'll be ready here.
It's going to take me a minute because I got a bunch of them to share.
Oh, look at you. Aren't you? You got a lot of people to share too. All right. And our guest that's online, I know you can hear us. Go ahead if you want. You got time. You can share to your pages as well if you'd like. The feed is up on the Up North Journal page. So
let me go do the sharing I got to do. We added some more share areas.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about those.
Right?
Yeah, we got stuff to talk about with that. We got to get to our ATA coverage. We've yet to get in on that yet. Okay, let's see who we got on. Hey, Charles Bryan, welcome to the show. Andy Eberhard is on watching with us in the house already. Okay, good deal. A couple of you guys are early and ready to go. We're just waiting on Danny right now to finish typing, getting his shares in.
Right.
And we will be on our merry way. Get your shovel sharpened for this week?
Right.
You better have. Because it's going to be a cold one.
It will be.
And a snowy one this week. And as always, Danny will be posting this live stream over on YouTube on Wednesday.
And our website.
And on our, that's right. Yeah, you got back into the website and started doing some updating and cleaning up there.
Right.
He started dusting that out a little bit. So look for some things on the upnorthjournal.com page as well to be coming here soon. And we will be out shooting we'll be out shooting leagues tonight. And speaking of tournaments, Lancaster was today. Did you get to check out any live coverage?
I checked into some of that.
It's pretty good shooting again, as always.
I watched the early morning when I was working out this morning.
Yeah.
And
those guys shoot lights out. That's all I got to say. Kevin Buckley, Ken Cicluna, Doug Gillervane is on watching with us. Tony Smith. Hey, Tony, what's going on? One of our cold Michiganders. You about done there, big fella?
Hold on.
Our guest is sitting there waving at you, saying, hurry up.
I'm going as fast as my little fingers can paste.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm just going to go ahead and start the recording while you're doing that. We're not going to waste any more time. So here we go.
Go right ahead.
Stand by in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal. I'm your host, Mike Adams, sitting in a cold cabin tonight with Dan DeFaw as he's texting and typing and sharing away. So it's a cold week here in Michigan, but we're thinking already head into the fall here. We're thinking about deer hunting. So are you about done there?
Last one.
Okay, come on. Danny's got so many friends he has to share with everybody, I guess. I don't know. It's taking him a half hour here to put all these in, so... Doug Gillervane, he says, finally got to catch the show live. Good, man. Glad you're in the house tonight. So, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. Since we're already looking ahead, we're talking about deer season. Why don't you go ahead? Let's introduce the guest and let's just dive right into this.
Actually, this is something you thought of or caught wind of.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he just joined in on the live Facebook the week before ATA.
Right. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get Deane Elliott in here. Deane, what's going on tonight, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great. Well, we need some warmth, but other than that, we're doing okay. But
I hear you.
You're down in West Virginia, or no, you're down in Virginia, not West Virginia. You're down in Virginia, and back before ATA, I ran across some of your products, and everybody knows I went, it's things that make you go, huh. So, but and all of a sudden you're chiming in via one of our friends, Josh Hagerman,
Right.
who shared it with you, and then all of a sudden we had John. So we thought, what better way to talk about it than to actually get you onto the show and let you explain some of these things for us.
Yeah, right.
So, but without further ado, let's kind of dive in here. The one product that I think everybody could use is the Gutcheck system, or the Gutcheck wipes that you developed. Talk a little bit. I mean, obviously this is for archery, but how did that all come about?
Good. Yeah. So I was hunting with a good friend of mine named Jeff, who's a really good shot with a bow, and we were down at my hunt club down in Charlottesville, Virginia, and he shot a deer, and we started tracking it. It was like a 7-yard shot, a little chip shot for him.
Okay.
Which we know is never a chip shot, but
Right.
he's steep angle. The deer kicks, runs away, and he thinks it's just done. So we start tracking, and lo and behold, we lose the blood trail, and it just dried up. And so we started doing a broader search and doing circles and looking all around, and ultimately we found the deer, and the chest was splayed open and was plugged with the guts. And I just thought to myself at that time, there's got to be a way to determine whether or not an arrow has passed through the digestive tract of an animal. And that's sort of where it all started. I went back to my tree stand that afternoon and made a little note on my iPhone and said, digestive indicator or pH indicator for an arrow. And that's where it was all born.
Well, looking at that, is this like an area of expertise that you've got experience in or a job in? I mean, to think
Right.
about those things, I mean, we all sit in our stands and we go, what if, and you think about things, but,
Sure.
Is that where your expertise is in background like this?
Well, I'm really fortunate and blessed to have spent a career in patent research, and you tell people that, and they tend to shake their head and say, "Oh," and not really understand what that is. But for 30 years, I was basically, when people invented things, whether they are individuals or corporations, they would have a patent search done by a professional patent researcher like me, or somebody that worked for me. So I started doing that at a law firm for 10 years. I worked there as a patent and trademark researcher, and then had my own company for 20 years doing it. So I guess you could say, daily the subject matter of what I looked at would change. It could be something, my background's electrical and mechanical. So,
Okay.
Basically one day I could be looking at a fishing lure, the next day I'm looking at a hydraulic circuit for a combine, the full gamut of things, or some sort of electrical system. So they say about patent searchers, they know a little bit about a lot, and so I guess master of none.
Yeah, okay, I got you. I mean, that's what they say about farmers. They're a jack of all trades, master of none.
That's
the way
right.
my grandfather was. But
Sure.
so
So what I did beyond that, after I had this idea, I wrote a description of it, and very high level, just more or less conceptual. Had one of my researchers do an unbiased search for me, and we found that it wasn't patented. So then I went to a patent attorney who, his brother is a chemist, and I went to the chemist and said, "Can you prototype this thing? Can you make it work?" And he was able to, and they sent me some prototypes of it. And then I walked around the ATA show, I believe it was 2016, with this concept and with my prototypes, and showed it to different people, and got a really positive response from it. People thought, "Wow, that's unlike anything that I've ever seen," and I can see the benefit and effectiveness of that. And so that's when I decided to pursue it as far as patenting goes, and actually taking it to market.
okay, so you got a good warm reception of this product
Right.
at the ATA, and then you've pursued. You've progressed with it now, and you've actually got it out. You were at ATA again
Right.
this year, and we talked with you a little bit. So basically, I mean, I got pictures up right now of the product. It's basically like a little circular disc that's got like maybe a litmus test type thing to it.
So the first product that I came out with was the wrap.
Okay.
And the wrap basically has a pH sensitive material printed on it, and then next to the wrap is a section of absorptive material, and then on each end is a reflective material.
Okay.
So that wrap, as it passes through, it either absorbs blood or whatever fluid it's passing through. So if it's pH sensitive, basically digestive material, it's going to change colors from the tannish color that it originates as to a greenish color.
Okay.
And then if it goes through blood, it's going to blood stain. It's going to really, and if it goes through a lot of blood, like a double lung shot, it's going to stain blue.
Okay.
In the end, and then red everywhere else. So that was the first iteration of it. And then I started thinking, there are a lot of bow hunters out there that just won't put anything on their arrows, even though it's 9 grain, or I think it's 8 grains. They're just people who won't add any weight to their arrows. So I thought a wipe would be the sort of the answer for that. So instead of attaching something to the arrow, they could carry it in a small can. And I've got, this is what it comes in. It's a round can, 6 come within it, and you can simply throw it in your pack, and then when you get where you're going and you need it, you retrieve your arrow and you wipe the surface of the shaft, and it will immediately tell you if there's stomach acid present.
Now, do they have a once you break it out of the package, open up the canister, do they have a shelf life that you have to use them by, or are they good?
They're good until they're exposed to some sort of harsh environment. For instance, if they got super wet, for instance, that would basically wash out the pH material. But as far as air and things like that, there's no shelf life on it.
Okay, and the other question coming in on Facebook Live is, does it work for such as bear, any other game animals besides whitetail?
Yes, they actually work for all species, and so the ink that we're using on the wraps is the same ink that we're using to make the wipes. So within the wrap family, all 4 deer, mule, whitetail, elk, and moose are covered by the same wipe and wrap. Same thing is true of hog, turkey, and bear. They have a higher pH level, so it requires a different ink.
Okay, all right. And so, other question, the wraps, is this a one-time use thing? Can I just wipe it off and use it again, or how does that work?
You can, if it is, for instance, it goes through blood, it will still change colors if exposed to acid, but once it goes to an acidic color, it doesn't reverse. It's basically a disposable at that point.
For the ones on the, like you said, for the wrap, obviously once you use it and you need to take that off, a lot of guys, if the arrow's not damaged, they'll use that same arrow again, put a new broadhead on it and go back out.
Right.
Maybe that year, next year, whatever. How hard is it to get those wraps off?
It's not hard at all. I use a standard tool used for removing wraps, and basically peel it off with that.
Okay. All right. So, or you could probably, I imagine, overlay it back over top of that. I mean, obviously, you'd be adding more weight to it if that's an issue for somebody, but you could overlay it right over top of another one?
I've never tried that. It is something that I guess you could do, or place it in another place. Everybody's setup's a little different. For instance, whisk or biscuit versus a fall away rest, for instance. So people ask us sometimes where should it be placed, and that really depends upon the particular setup.
Okay. Well, what about a crossbow? I mean, I got a picture up now of on the crossbow rail. Is there anything that you need to be concerned about of where to place that on the bolt?
We've never had any problem with the crossbow. I personally, that's my crossbow and my setup.
Okay.
I like to put it forward off of the rail, in that FOC. But we've never had any problem because we're shooting 40 yards, 50 yards maybe. But we've never had anybody say that they've had a problem with deflection.
Okay. All right. So now we got people up here that are throwing a couple questions in and everything, and they're interested in this. Now the $99 question is how much do these cost in the store, and where can you get them?
Sure. So they're $2.49 a piece, and you get 6 in a pack.
Okay.
So they can be purchased through our website, which is gutcheckindicators.com, and they're available through Kinsey's and Lancaster and Ferris Brothers as well.
Okay, so really any of the bigger online retailers, that if you're affiliated in the archery industry, you know where those are and how to get to those.
Sure, and we're starting to get more of a dealer network set up as well. And we're getting a lot of inquiries about carrying the product. So we have it priced, obviously, for the different levels of dealers, distributors, retail, that sort of thing. So we're happy to set up dealers if they'd like to carry it.
Well, it sounds like a great product. I tell you what,
it would sure help. You're out there and you don't have the availability of going back to the video and watching it 27 times. But
well, I'm thinking like if you shoot something and you think you might have a marginal shot, and you're not 100% sure, and you don't know whether to go in and push in to recover game or to back out and wait. You've got these wipes, or if it's on your arrow, it has the wrap. Either way, it's a way to check it, and then you can make that determination. Okay, yeah, I got a good hit. We got good blood here. Or if not, and it turns green, like you said, then hey, we need to back out and just let this animal expire and not push it. So.
Yeah. Did you show the side by side of the two arrows?
Yeah, let me throw that back up there one more time here.
Yeah, that like you said, the picture you got with the two, the one on the right is the full. I guess a double lung, all blood, and the one on the left, you put it through the gut, and you can tell the difference on the wrap itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And those were actually shots that I took, and the one on the left, the one that was gut shot, I had no idea that I got shot at. It was a 20-yard shot, but I pulled it, just plain and simple. I pulled it a little bit. And it kicked when I hit it, and it ran away. And I thought, okay, that's a good shot. And when I retrieved the arrow, I knew immediately. I looked right at it. I said, oh my gosh, how did I actually shoot that? And I had a video camera, but when I went back and looked at it on my phone screen, it was still hard to tell exactly where I'd hit it. So.
Well, a lot of times they'll jump the string, and they'll wheel, and they'll start to turn and turn away from you. I mean, and it happens so quick. A lot of times you really don't have a good indication of where you hit. You think you hit it good, but maybe you didn't. So
anything to help out in the field, because it happens so fast that like you said, you pulled. You didn't think you did, but in reality you did.
Right. In today's bows and crossbows are shooting so fast that it's really difficult to try and track anything with your eye when you're in the moment.
Right, exactly. Like you said, these new bows and crossbows, these arrows are zinging along.
Well, before we go to break here, I got the picture up too about the glow wrap, the fluorescent on the wrap. Talk a little bit about that before we go to break here.
Sure. So we wanted to make it not just a pH indicator, but we wanted to make sure that it was highly visible. So we sought out the highest reflective material that we could find, and still have it be light and work for our application. So we went out and got this material, and just are amazed at how bright it is. Josh Hagerman also mentioned recently that even completely saturated with blood, he was able to see his wrap really, really brightly. It was shining through the blood. So that's encouraging.
You know, I gotta imagine, you know, in the evening, if you're shooting, you know, how many times do we get our shots right before last light and the deer come in close? And you take that shot and you sit and you wait, you know, you wait that half hour, 45 minutes, whatever you think it is, and by that time it's dark, you know, and then you got to try to find the arrow. So, you know, turn your flashlight on and bang, this thing lights up. I mean, the picture here, thing looks like a neon sign blinking, you know, I mean, it's bright.
You know, and then like you said, being the bright, having to let a deer go lay down and you go look for it after dark just with a simple flashlight, because we saw his demonstration at ATA, how bright it was, you know, looking with the flashlight. You see one of these sticking up, I'm sure it'll get the reflectiveness.
Oh, absolutely. So, all right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're a little long here on this one, so let's take a quick break. We're going to step outside, and when we come back, we can field a few questions about this product, or we'll go ahead and dive into the next product called Scent Relief. So we're going to step outside, and we'll be right back after this. Okay.
Everybody out there in Facebook, if you got questions. Doug Gilmervine has got a question. Okay, so we got a question going into the next.
Okay. We will get right on that one, and then we'll dive into the other one if we don't have any more questions.
Right. Matt Howard tuning in from Ohio.
Welcome to the show tonight, Matt.
I'm glad he's on time.
Yeah, Matt, we changed to 4 o'clock. We'll be that way for probably another eight episodes after this one until we get done shooting leagues.
4, 8, yeah, because this is week 4, right?
Yeah, this is our 4th week, yeah. All right, here we go. Right, Dan? Stand by in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Second segment of the show. We're still talking with Deane Elliott, and he is from Virginia, and we're talking about
Gutcheck.
Gutcheck, and you had a question.
You actually got 2 questions now. Okay, the first one is, what about like skinny type arrows like the Victory VAPs, the wraps? Do they come in different sizes?
So we currently only offer one size, and I have talked to some people who have talked about trimming the indicator. It won't affect it if you do trim it, but right now it's currently available in one size, which is, I believe, the common size that most standard arrows are.
Okay, so standard arrows, if you get into the small, the SDs, it might be a little bit of an issue, but you can trim those up. Another question from Vivian Adams. Relation to you?
Nope, not that I know of.
When using the wipe, do you apply on the arrow before or after?
So when you're using the wipe, you retrieve your arrow, and then you simply wipe the surface of the arrow or bolt with the wipe. And whatever material is present on the on the arrow or bolt is what you're going to see reflected on the wipe.
Okay.
All right.
So you're not treating the arrow at all.
Yeah,
you're simply retrieving it and wiping it and seeing what matter is on the bolt or arrow.
Oh, great question, Terry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dan's bro's got a question here.
So can you pick up blood that's on the ground and test it in the same way with the wipe?
Yes, so that's a question we've been asked. If you were tracking and you found a pool of blood, you could dab the pool with this, and if there's pH present in the blood, it would show on the wipe.
Excellent question. You know, that's a good idea because you might not be able to get your arrow back.
Right.
Especially if the deer took it with them.
Right.
That gives you definitely a good
option.
So
absolutely,
definitely an option. You know, and that's one of the things that like we talked about in the other set. It gives you some kind of direction to start thinking about and which way to go.
Right.
That's awesome. All right.
Okay, we got a couple people talking about maybe our audio is just a touch low, so I bumped it up there just a tad. So if we're getting a little overmodulation, let me know. Doug's asking the price. One more time on the price on that.
So the wraps are $14.97 for 6 retail, and the wipes are $10.97 retail for 6. We also offer just a purely reflective wrap as well. That was the one on the back end of the bolt that you were showing earlier. So there's no pH property to it. It's simply a reflective wrap.
Okay. So if you want something to be able to find your arrow later, like we were just talking about with your flashlight, then you just got the wrap that's just got the glow material.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
Cool. All right. How about we get on to the next product he has?
The next product. Okay, Danny, go ahead. I got to take care of something here while we're doing that. So
Yeah,
go ahead and introduce that.
besides Gutcheck, there's another. This is the one actually I think Mike came up of just hearing about, and he said, and I'm like, right, and then that's when you came on, and
Sure.
But scent relief, interesting. Talk about it.
Well, so while we were developing the wrap, I was working with the chemist down there. I had been, I don't know. I have a problem. I try and figure out a way to solve it. So I'm sitting in my tree stand one day, and I have that problem that we all have.
Right?
I need to relieve myself, and I'm a coffee drinker, as a lot of people are, and you may have to do that a little more often if you are a coffee drinker.
Amen.
So I'm thinking, the standard answer is, some people just let it go and don't think twice about it. Some people go in a bottle, and I thought, wouldn't it be neat if we could actually convert this human urine into an attractant for deer? So I know it sounds crazy, and but I thought maybe there's a way to make this happen. So I emailed the chemist, and I said, this is what I want to do. And he basically wrote back, it's probably doable. It's just not my area of expertise. And the guy's brilliant. He's a PhD chemist. And I said, okay. So I kind of tabled it a little bit. And I was working with Don Bell as a consultant, a marketing consultant on the wraps on the Gutcheck line. And Don has been, he's the former owner of Code Blue and Top Secret. He, I believe, was bottling Tinks at one time. So I forwarded the email to Don. I think it was right after the ATA show last year, and I said, hey, Don, I'm going to send you an email, something I came up with, and I want to see if it's doable. And I forwarded it to him, and he got back to me. He said, this is doable. Believe it or not, I know the chemists, the specialists in this field. I've worked with them over the last 30 years in the various brands that he owned, companies he owned. And so we went to his chemist, and he came up with, it's a two-part solution. The first thing is to neutralize the urine, capture it in a bottle, neutralize it. And then the second part is to add an enhancer or a modifier, which basically converts it from, its carrier stage into either an attractant or an animal scent.
Okay.
Again, as we talked about,
Yeah.
he was up in his tree stand wondering things that make you go out in the tree stand, right?
I'm a coffee drinker. Everybody knows that. I mean, I have my Hunter's Blend with me in the stand, and I, honestly, this year I was in the stand, and I'm like, I'm freezing to death. I need to stay warm, so I'm drinking my coffee, and all of a sudden, guys at our age, it hits a little quicker, and I'm like, oh, come on, really? It's prime time. I can't hold it, so you do what you got to do, and I'm a scent control freak of nature. When it comes to this stuff, I am super anal about it, and I just it kills me to have to urinate around my stand or while I'm on stand.
Right.
But so I understand completely. But when you start talking about this with people, maybe not necessarily your close buddies that you're working on this with, but when you shared this information a little bit and you started, will this fly? What was the reaction you got?
I'd say by and large the reaction was, this is a great idea if it works. Certainly there are skeptics. There are people who just think there's no difference between deer urine and human urine. And that's a tough thing to change for people. If you believe that, then this may not be the product that you're going to believe in. But as I've told people, it's one thing to go and to have a zero effect on your environment. If you believe that that's what's happening, you're not affecting the animals, that's great. But I have yet to meet anybody who can make their urine smell like whitetail estrus or a tarsal buck or apple for that matter.
Right.
So we're not only not having an effect, but we're actually drawing in animals, which is a completely different concept than simply not having an effect. The other thing is with the CWD effect. Now, I live in a state in Virginia. You cannot use a natural deer urine at all. So everything's going fully synthetic. I believe Alabama met 2 weeks ago, decided to outlaw the use of natural urine. There's 7 or 8 other states, I believe, that have banned it. And then I believe Canada also. So basically that's going to put people on an equal footing of, okay, we have a synthetic line and that's it. And what can you do to a synthetic to make it stand out from another competing product? In our case, it's actually a hybrid. It's urine based, but it's not deer urine based. And so the laws read essentially that you cannot use a deer urine in the woods to attract deer. So by using a urine base and keeping the overlapping compounds that are common to both, we can still have a urine-based product and do what we need to do to it in order to convert it to an attractant.
Okay, and talking about attractant, okay, I had the videos up here, but I'm going to go back to them. We've got, looks like a doe and a fawn coming in. Explain what we're seeing here.
If that's the daylight picture there, that's I had put out. It's post-season. It's around, I think it's December the 12th or 10th. Anyway, we're past the rut. We're past all that activity. And so I thought, well, let's put some apple scent out and see how they respond to it. And they are coming in to, there's a reflective marker in the tree right above it. You can see that, and I placed the scent right underneath it. So you can see that they're coming to that spot.
Okay. Now, we got the nighttime video here. I'm going to put up a single doe, and it looks like she's licking the tree.
Right. It was the same thing. I created the scent, and then I put it down, and she came right to it.
Okay. And that's the reflector that's in the tree there, the same tree there?
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
All right. And when we were at ATA, you talked a little bit about this too, that you had some deer, it may have been bucks, I can't remember, but you said they came down, they just laid in it?
Yes, I thought I'd sent you that picture, maybe I didn't, but they actually were so comfortable around it that they came and laid down right where we put it.
Okay. All right.
If a deer is going to lay in it, it must be good.
Well, it would be one thing if I was just some guy who said, "Hey, look, I've got this wacky idea. Trust me, it works." But I'm working with a guy who has a reputation in the industry, in Don Bell, and he wouldn't stand behind the product. We put a 100% satisfaction guarantee on it. We wouldn't do that if we thought it was snake oil or we didn't think it worked.
I was just about to say that, because this industry, being as small as it is, you get that moniker hooked on you,
right?
You're basically done. So you've got the scent relief bottles here. How big are they? How much are they? And where can we find them?
So the scent relief bottle is 21 ounces by design. We may have talked about this before, but according to the internet, which is always true, the average male goes up to 16 ounces during one time. So we left a little airspace in there because you drop in the neutralizing powder, and it does a little foaming and fizzing, so we left some space in there. And then you add the enhancer modifier. The product, depending on whether it's the tarsal or the attractant family versus the cover scent family. The attractant family is $14.97. You get the bottle, you get the neutralizer, and then whatever enhancer you're adding to it. And I'll add that in that you're creating up to 16 ounces of usable attractant that has a week-long shelf life, and it's $14.97 for 16 ounces, up to 16 ounces. And a premium brand, you get maybe 2 ounces, an ounce and a half for the same money.
Yeah, I was just about to say, the price point that he's coming at for up to 16 ounces, that you get these, might be a little glass bottle that,
Right.
you might be paying that much more money or more
Right.
for 2 ounces.
Right. Now, we talked about this a little bit at the ATA, but so you make a bottle of this, and maybe you don't want to dump the whole bottle out on the ground. You want to say, like, is like a temperature range that you need to store this in to be effective? Or just seal it up and hang on to it?
Just seal it up, right.
Okay.
Right.
And then just splash it out wherever you need or want it to be put, I assume. Okay.
And now, is this a one-time use only, or can I use it multiple times?
It's a one-time. Well, the bottle, once it's been used, should be discarded. I say it could be like a 2-time use. If you were to only fill it halfway, then you could use half of the neutralizer, half of the modifier enhancer, and then you'd be left with another 8-ounce treatment.
Okay, so this comes in powder form then?
So the neutralizer is powder, and the enhancer modifier is a liquid.
Okay, all right.
We also make what we've called a pea pot, which is essentially the bottle with neutralizer. So if you don't want to convert it into some sort of cover scent or attractant, you can simply neutralize it and pour it out. Or you can use it around camp, for instance, if you don't, you don't want to go around camp. Just go in.
Yep, just neutralize it and
neutralize it.
Pour it out when you can. But
right,
and this is a product that could definitely. It's kind of interesting. I like it. I really like it.
Like I said when I first saw it, it's the things that make you go, because it's something we all have to deal with when we're in this.
Right, exactly.
Sure.
Now, if you can develop one that takes care of the other problem, you'll have a gold mine.
Right.
There's one for you right there.
Right.
So,
let me think about that.
Yeah. And I got to say, behind you, you've got a bear on the wall. So I'm going to ask the question: does this work on other game animals?
We have pictures of bear coming into the whitetail estrus scent. So,
really?
Yes. Yeah, we have actually probably a 500-pound bear. I could send it to you. But it was a giant bear. It was also right there where we had a big buck come into it. And we later, it was down in our club, then we killed it. Other animals, foxes, raccoons, all sorts of animals come into just the ester smell or just doe, because I think they see that as a safe community, basically.
Okay, I was thinking more like the apple smell, but you took it to the other side with the lure as well.
Yeah, you did.
Wow, interesting, very interesting.
Yeah. We haven't tested for bear specifically with apple, but I suspect we could basically convert it to any smell we want to for any species and have it work.
Okay, well, that's like I said. This things make you on. This is definitely an interesting product, especially with CWD coming to the forefront so much now, and what we're going to have to deal with urine-based attractants that we use out in the field now. Like you said, with states that are actually going to start banning some of those things, even if they are ATA approved. Some state agencies are saying no, we're just not going to deal with any of it. So
Virginia won't. It will not let you use even an ATA approved
that's
urine.
Something that we're going to all have to probably deal with here at some point in the future, near future.
For bears, jelly donut.
Jelly
donut. Let me make a note. And bacon, right?
And bacon, yeah.
Bacon,
right.
You might attract other hunters.
Yeah, right. Somebody's going to come in at the stand saying, somebody's cooking some bacon over here.
Right.
So again, where can people find Scent Relief if they want to go and check it out?
So we are starting production in June. We'll be delivering to our suppliers, so Lancaster, Kinsey's, Ferris Brothers will be carrying it. And then the website will be turned on for consumer orders as well, starting in July.
So not even out on the shelves yet, and we're already talking
Right.
about it.
Right. Well, as the season gets closer, we'll have to have you come back on and,
Love to.
talk a little more about it. Who knows, you may have something else that you want
Sure.
to talk about. I got to imagine with the things you've already thought of, there's got to be more things you've got on your plate that you want to deal with,
There are.
as all hunters do, I assume. So
Oh, we've
Right.
got a suggestion of maple syrup.
maple syrup, there you
Maple
go.
syrup. Okay. All
All
right.
right. Anybody else got
Sounds
any
good.
questions out here, real quick? I tell you what, Deane, hang on real quick. Let's
Sure.
step outside. Let's take another break real quick. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Maybe answer a few questions here. So we'll be right back after this. Okay, guys, on Facebook, if you've got anything here, we'll entertain a few questions before we let Deane go.
Right?
Being a Sunday afternoon, he's probably got something he'd rather be doing than talking to Mike and Danny. So,
No, this is fun.
yeah, we keep it easy. We
Well,
keep it lighthearted.
I tell you what, it's fun because you get ideas thrown at you, left,
Sure.
maple syrup, bacon,
That must be the guys from Canada, eh?
eh?
Yeah. Right.
All right, we got that one saved off. Anything popping up here?
Nope.
Well, Dean, is there anything else you'd like to cover when we come back on this, or you think we
Yeah,
got it pretty
think we-
much?
I think we covered it pretty well.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, we appreciate you sitting here with us. We don't have any questions right now, but feel free to go ahead and share this, and we'll get back with you as the season gets closer,
Great. Sounds good. I look forward to
and
it.
we'll talk a little more about it and see how sales are going for you.
Okay, great.
All right, you take care now. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. You
All right.
too.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys and gals. Danny has left the seat here temporarily, so we'll wait till he comes back and we'll start the next segment up here. Very interesting talk. Denny Steiner, great topic. So cold that electricity froze. Here we go. Here we go.
Technical difficulties.
We're,
right, we're
back. that was crazy. So, yeah, we lost power. So
Actually, it was my fault.
Danny kicked the power strip. And
Yeah, I kicked the power strip button.
it went dead. So we'll be live here for a second on the live stream as we're rebooting a couple things here. So
Right. So, yes, technical difficulties. So let's get back.
that's funny. I'm just glad it wasn't during the recorded part of it.
Right, exactly.
So. All right.
All right, now we're back. Okay, there we go.
So this would be part two. Part two.
Ron Moses is checking from the shanty.
Well, Ron, are you catching any fish? That's
You're
what I wanna
checking from the shanty, but are you catching in the shanty?
know. Right. Exactly.
Right.
So let me get this thing back.
Yeah, Doug, I do a good job. I know. Now Matt Howard's going to be in a real tizzy because he won't know what's going on.
Right. Yeah, he came late to the game last week,
Right.
and then now he's probably wondering what's going on. So, all right, looks like. All right, yeah, we got it. We're back on here. So let me get the other computer going here. All good stuff.
And Charles Byram's back.
While I'm rebooting here, guys, is the audio and everything sound okay? We had a couple people comment that the audio was just a touch low.
Yeah, does
I did
it sound
bump
better
it.
now?
I did bump it up, and I noticed that I checked my main audio setting and it did look a little low. It's just one of them things, man. When you're pumping into like 3 different machines, and you got to kind of hit that sweet spot to make sure that it's not too low but not too hot. So
Right. The kid is.
okay, good deal, Ron. Make sure you catch some fish sticks for dinner.
Right, exactly.
All right, we're waiting for this other one to reboot here. So So, all right, Bigfoot,
Yeah, no kidding.
kicking stuff around and knocking power strips off. I got to put a piece of duct tape around that so it
Or we'll get a little bit longer cord to tuck it up underneath.
underneath, right? Tape it to the side of the computer or something.
Right.
So, hey, Terry's back with us. Hey, Terry, your brother kicked us off the air.
I did. And one swift kick, too.
That's
That's
right.
pretty good.
All right, here we go. You ready, Dan?
Yep, let's do it.
Oh, wait, we got a wheel spinning here. We're going to wait a second.
Oh, it does sound better from Charles.
Okay, cool. Good deal. All right, here we go. Stand by in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the third segment of the show. Slight power failure here
Yep.
for those on the podcast in the commercial break. So
Luckily, it was in the commercial break.
that's right. We're all back booted up and rocking and rolling. So to
But I
speak.
tell you what, that was interesting. Definitely the Gutcheck one is really cool because now that I think about it, it's having something that after the shot that you might not have your arrow, you could still, great question by my brother, that you could actually test the blood
Right.
and say, hey, well, I see blood,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, because sometimes you shoot them and you don't get a clean pass through, and it runs off with your arrow.
right, exactly. So being able to do that and kind of give you a sense
Yeah.
check of what you're doing, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And scent relief, I'm telling you, that is just, everybody's going to have some,
Right.
so you might as well use it to your advantage.
Yeah, you know how I am though. I'm just so protective of my area, but it's one of them deals. Do you try to stay warm because you're freezing to death, or because you know it's coming? You drink the Hunter's Blend coffee, and you know
Right.
it's coming. You're gonna have to get rid of it. So, and speaking of Hunter's Blend, give them a quick plug here right now. The UNJ promo code. You guys go over to huntersblendcoffee.com for your order. Use the UNJ promo code. Type UNJ in all uppercase in that code, and it takes 10% off
Yep,
your order.
it does. And we had some. You see the comment there. I know you're laughing at me. That's my sister-in-law.
Yeah. Duct tape Danny's feet. That's what Charles says. Duct tape him to the chair or something.
Right.
Keep you from kicking.
Hey, but I had to get up and make some changes. So
You did.
I had to do my job.
That's right.
I did do my job.
You did do your job. You
I
did
added
it
the
well.
bonus.
That's right. We just had a little excitement. along
But
the way.
yeah, and which leads us right back into what we haven't talked about is ATA.
Yes,
And
we've not had the opportunity to talk about ATA.
No, we haven't. And it was, I tell you what, it was a whirlwind of 4 days.
You know what? It was so different this year. Being in the PSE booth and being part of that crew, hanging out with them for 4 days.
Yeah.
Counting the setup day. My hat's off to the guys from PSE. I mean, they were so helpful and so kind and getting people to us to interview and things. It was really nice. It was kind of laid back, a little more relaxed. We didn't do the usual run around the show. And like you and I talked, Danny, it was more like we were part of the show instead of being spectators going to the show.
Yes, exactly. And we didn't get time to. We were so busy, we didn't get time to shoot any bows.
Uh-huh.
So we'll have to get Dan and
Yep.
shoot some bows.
They had to go over to spot shooters and shoot some of them over there.
Well, hopefully Dan will be there.
Yeah, I know. I last time I was over, I checked the new Evoke is in, and I think he had a Supra over there as well.
Okay.
The new Supra. So I want to, I want to get in there and start shooting some of the bows. Speaking of shooting bows, along with ATA, we've been doing leagues as well. So that's something else. Maybe next week we can talk a little more about that and get into that. But,
Right, but it had a different feel to it.
Yeah.
We were able to get in, set up, and be ready to go.
Yeah.
On Thursday morning, and it just was, we went and met the guys from Hunter's Blend, and
Yep.
we walked around, but it wasn't like, it was cool.
Yeah, and not only, we hung out with PSC for the 3 days, but we also partnered up with some great companies that we were kind of in the works with before we went to ATA, and we got to meet with them and talk to them a little bit, and we're now on a couple different ambassador staffs. Back, was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
We made an announcement at ATA, and that was with Scent Blocker.
Yep.
And at that time, right after that was when some things changed with them, and Scent Lock actually took that brand over as well. So we had to step back and wait. Well, we've waited. They've invited us back, and we're now and everybody says, well, wait a minute. It's two companies. How does that all work? But, they explained it to us, and it works great for Danny and I both.
Yeah, because typically I wear scent block and you wear scent lock.
Yep.
But it's now owned by the same company.
Yeah.
So the technology is a little bit different on each side, but it works. And it's one of those things that it's no big deal to cross over. It's not infringing. And, talking with them at ATA was just incredible. Finally getting that, invited back and getting it working again. And obviously you can tell because we have some brand new pretty socks.
That's right. Yeah. And speaking of the socks, that's something new, kind of new to them that they're really pushing right now. And we're trying them out. And I tell you what, so far, everything's going great with that. It's we call it the stinky feet, no stinky feet. So as Danny and I work through at the gym, we're still working out at the gym, and we're working through with some of those, and we're going to give you our feedback on all that.
Yeah,
along with some different products that they've got.
And not just my point of view, but I gave some to my daughter's girlfriend, Gabby.
Yeah.
I said, she works out too, so I said, here, you're going to try these and have a woman's side of it, so it's just not, hey, you guys are from the company, blah, blah, blah.
Well, my daughter's husband, he has stinky feet. He works in a kitchen as a part-time job, and I'm sorry, but Austin, he got some stinky feet. Okay, but he saw this, and he's first thing is like, can I have some? Can I get some from here? Can I buy some? I'm like, sure, yeah. So I sold him a package of mine, and the first time he come back to me, I said, well, what'd you think? He's like, dude, these things are awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it not only does it help take care of that problem, and try to minimize some of that foot odor, but it also, they feel really good on my feet, and that's what I like.
They do feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I've been using them exclusively at the gym.
Yeah.
The pair that I have at the gym, I haven't washed them all week.
What? That's part of it.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to basically ruin these,
right,
and see how much they can take or they can't take. And
right.
So far, it's been I've worked out. Today was day 5, so 5 days this week, an hour a day. So far, so good.
Right. And we had I had some feedback from one of our listeners, Charles, and I don't know if Charles is still on. It looks like, and he was asking me about the moisture wicking properties of it, because that's what he's concerned with.
Right.
Where he's hunting, as well as some of that scent control. And that's part of what I'm really starting to pay attention to as well. In my hunting situations, normally I'm wearing rubber boots. I don't tuck my pant legs inside the boot. I always have them on the outside. So that moisture always escapes up into my suit and then vents out normally. But in the cold temperatures, I don't have a problem with my feet sweating. So even in rubber boots. So there's some different things that you guys are asking that I'm going to start paying attention to and really trying to take notice of. So, if you've got questions on any of the gear that we use, let us know your concerns, and
we'll try it out.
We'll try and
we'll try to recreate what the question is and see if we can't, debunk it or or what it becomes feedback to the company.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're working. I'm going to be doing scent lock, and Danny's going to be doing blocker.
Yep.
And as well as using some of the Oz products, the ozone products that they have as well. Those things I've really been intrigued with when that technology started hitting the market, and now we're going to be able to work with a company that has that.
And don't worry, folks. We're going to try to get some people on from these companies
Absolutely.
as well, and have them explain to us what's going on, why, where, and how.
Yep. So that's the, I don't know if you call it one company or two. It's 2 in 1 kind of. Easy Cut's another one. If you guys remember, I got some pruners from Josh Hagerman. A buddy of mine sent me some, and I fell in love with the product. I took them out when I was setting stands and absolutely loved them. So I bought the whole sling pack kit that has all the attachments and all the different implements with it. We're going to run down through that as we get closer to season, obviously, but you'll see posts from us on those products as well. We're going to, okay, so people are, Easy Cut, but Josh gave me a pack, and I'm not going to say much about it, but we'll bring them in and we'll show you, and we'll kind of set up the whole story about the pack that he gave me and where it came from and what happened to it and how's it look. Right, exactly. So you're going to be amazed.
Right, exactly.
And another company we're working with, the one that I've really been intrigued with for the last 3 or 4 years, is Rambo Bikes. Electronic bike. I've really looked at these over the last couple of years, and we've had an opportunity to work with them, and we've actually got one for demo right now that we're going to be using.
Yep. We're going to try to get it out for
ice fishing. Yeah.
When it's not negative
50.
Right. Real quick, Doug is asking, are the socks wool?
No. They're more. Are they a poly?
We'll have to get the makeup of them.
Go right over there real quick. Don't kick the power strip this time, but go over there in that box is the wrap form. Yeah, and I forget exactly what they're made of, but it's more of a stretchy poly type material, I think, with moisture wicking properties. I know with regular socks that I have a problem with my feet sweating. With these, I haven't had an issue so far. Does it say on it?
I'm looking.
He's looking. The rest of them I've got with my gym clothes right now, so we'll have to get back
60. Okay.
Go ahead. You got it.
Yep.
Danny's getting back situated here.
Okay, and I'm not going to put my foot over there. All right, so the athletic socks that we're using in the gym are 66% polyester, 15% silver nylon, 15% nylon, and 4% spandex.
There you go. Stretchy pants.
Yep.
So, no, they feel really good on my feet. It's something that's I've wore to work a couple times and simply love them. I've been changing back and forth between them and my regular crew socks. And that's the thing. The socks we're talking about aren't per se hunting socks.
No, right now these are every
Athletic
day
line.
athletic socks you wear in your tennis shoes, boots. They come in a crew and they come in a short.
Yeah. And what I can see me doing probably is we get back into hunting season is wearing them and then putting my hunting scent lock carbon style socks on over top of it.
Exactly, and they'd be a good with the moisture and getting them out to the outer layers.
Yep, and like I said, it has that silver thread technology as well, and that attacks the bacteria that creates the human odor. So
yep, exactly,
the stinky feet. So, but
Rambo bikes. We'll be testing that out. Look for more to come through the year as we go through the different seasons, trying to test that out.
Yep.
You've got some really good ideas that you want to try for turkey season.
Yeah. Actually, to me, the more I thought about how to use this bike, other than just getting to and from my stand or checking trail cameras, this is going to be a game changer for me, I think. There's so many different things I was thinking about that I just lay in bed at night like, okay, we could use it for this and that, and what about this situation? So I think it's going to really open up some avenues that's going to change some things about the way we get out into the field quietly and get back in. So, or move around, actually.
Can't beat that.
Yeah. But as soon as we get some warmer temperatures, like near 20 degrees, hopefully we're going to get out on the ice and do some ice fishing and tow the jet sled and the shanty with it. So
right, exactly. And then tree stands.
Tree stands, yes. I've got one I bought last year and fell in love with that as well. So we're going to be doing some work with them as well. So is that the last company that we had to mention?
Yeah, they got more than just tree stands.
That's right. So
they've got a ground blind that I'm interested in looking at and possibly getting and working with. So they definitely got some. It's just not tree stands.
Yeah. So some companies that we've been looking at for a while and interested in, and now we're going to be doing some work with them and bringing some product your guys' way and letting you know what we think about it. So
right, and if you got, like we said, if you guys got any questions about them, let us know.
Yep.
We'll try it out, try to recreate the problem.
Yep.
And that's one thing we talked about is a bunch of this stuff that we do is feedback right to the company to help them out as well.
Yep, absolutely. So that's the announcements we had to make from ATA, and you guys saw the interviews. I want to say thanks to Pete Shepley, number one, the CEO and founder of PSE, who sat down with us and talked with us about his take on archery, the state of archery, kind of like it's almost like his State of the Union speech,
right, about archery and the passion he has for it, and when he created his archery school out there, is just. That place looks awesome.
It's incredible.
Right?
It is incredible.
I know they're having some tournaments out there, and they've got some scheduled to go in there for high school.
Yeah.
But, he said, and if you listen to the interview, you know what it just wasn't a put up 4 walls, throw a floor down, put some targets at the end. They looked into the lighting. They looked into everything.
Yep. So it's quite the place. If you haven't taken a look at some of those interviews, go back on our Facebook page and take a look at those. You know, we had Bill Epperts on, who's worked with Pete for quite a while, also with Mossy Oak. We had Denny Steiner on, who's one of the guys who chimes in on the show here quite often. He's a big game hunter over in Africa as well as here in the United States. And we got to hear his story about shaking down a Cape buffalo with his bow. I mean, shaking them down and making them move. I mean, that's pretty cool, pretty wild. And then we talk with.
We never did find tethered at ATA, did we?
No. I had them on my list. I just did not get out, and I haven't finished that yet. So
literally, you know, for being part of the show that we were, we literally were working right up till 4 o'clock the last day of the show.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it was like we were making some rounds that we had to make just to make sure we hit some people, and it was like, hey, we got to get out of here.
Right. And get back home.
Right. Well, that was another story, but
and Pedro Damporo, that interview was phenomenal. You know, talking with him again from Kuyu, that guy does some serious mountain hunting. I mean, that's just the only way to describe it. So get over and check those out. I want to say thank you to all of those guys who took time to sit down with us. You know, one of the guys we hope to get a little more familiar with is Eric Springer from Stans.
I was just about to say, if you see the interview, he talked about a release. If you're not the thumb type and you're more of the trigger type,
he got something.
He's got something that is really incredible that he engineered.
Yep.
And literally, the prototypes were sitting there.
Yeah.
At the show because he didn't have the right strap, he didn't have the right color.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, by the way, this isn't going to be this color and it's not going to be this strap, but here it is.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was brand new. So we're looking forward to hearing some more great things out of that company as well. So
yeah, definitely talk with him about that. That was kind of cool. It was just Tim Andrews, Rush Outdoors.
Absolutely.
Stopping by.
Yep, stopped by the booth and hung out with us and sat down and talked with us as well. So just it was a whirlwind.
We got there at 12 o'clock on Wednesday, and I don't think we stopped till 4 o'clock on Saturday.
You know what? Hold on to that thought. Let's
All right.
take our last break and come back because I want to talk about Badlands as well.
Well, I was going to say, we got the night left to talk about.
So, all right, we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this message. All right, guys and gals.
Any questions about the ATA? Let's have them.
Yeah. Shoot them to us here before we wrap up.
Because I tell you right now, we're not going to be on long after we finish the show.
Yeah, because we got to go shoot. Okay. And actually, we're only going to be on here for probably another 10 minutes max.
There you go.
So.
And we don't want to upset the shooters there at the league.
No, we didn't get to practice last week.
Actually, we got the 2 rounds of practice.
But that was it. We didn't get any other warm-ups.
Yeah, well,
we got warm-ups. We didn't get to practice.
Right. And I left my bow inside this time at home, so
okay.
It was cold last week. I did not like that. I was like, whoa.
Okay, that was... Here we go. Stand by in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Last segment of the show. Danny was alluding to the fact of how busy it was at ATA.
Like I said, we got there at Wednesday at noon. Mm-hmm. We went and set up. And then it was like, we haven't been to our hotel yet. But you know what? We
had to eat dinner.
Where we stayed at Louisville, there was a downtown, and then there was the complex, which was outskirts of town.
Right.
So we decided, thanks, Matt, slackers. So what we decided to do was just stay at the venue because that's where they're having Outtech.
Right.
And that's where we ate dinner.
Yeah, ate dinner, and we saw Rodney Akins in concert there.
Yep.
He put on a little show afterwards, and that was cool. We got to hang out. And he tried to kick away the guy from Hunter's Blend Coffee, one of our supporters here. He kicked him away from our dinner table. I'm like, do you know who you're kicking away from our table?
Well, you know what? I had my head down. I wasn't even paying attention, and I really probably wouldn't have recognized them until I read their badge. Any seats for up in the tree stand? I didn't see any, but don't. Stay tuned. We'll see what X has. I'm not sure.
We have to see what they got.
But yeah, so the first night we spent at Out Tech, spent some time there, and then finally we decided we're gonna go check in at the hotel.
Yep. Long night.
Oh, and by the way, yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna go down to Louisville. It's gonna be kind of warm.
It's supposed to have been warm.
Yeah, supposed to. And the lady at the check-in goes, man, just 48 hours ago, it was like 50 degrees.
Yeah, and it was like
30.
Yeah, and dropping.
Right. And said, thanks. But so that led us into the opener on Thursday. And then Thursday night was Hudala.
Yep.
And that show, going to that is just awesome. It's just fun to see what's all going around there.
Absolutely. Another great dinner that night.
Yep. We got out of there and we it was tiring at the end of each day.
It was, and it's like I said, it was relaxing, but at the same time, you knew you'd put a full day in when you were done.
Right, exactly. And Friday night was finally Badlands.
Yeah, that's the premier event that I always look forward to at ATA. It's me being in television and hunting and putting the two together, kind of like we do occasionally. I always look to see what other people are doing when they're putting their films together or what they think's important. This year, everything kind of turned around. Before this was the 6th year, I think. On our 5th year, we've been to it.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds about right.
We only missed the very first one, but the first 5 was always pretty much the same group of guys and gals with the films. This year, there was only 2 participants in it at all that was from last year, so it had a lot of new faces, a lot of new concepts, and it was more the films were built around friends, family, and just the joy of getting out and hunting versus a lot of kill shots. There was those in there as well, but it was most of those films were focused around those things, or maybe even conservation and giving back. So it was a real fresh of breath air going to Badlands this year and seeing the way the whole film festival was kind of making that transition away from just kill shots to something else.
And that's a funny thing you said that, because we had an interesting conversation after that at dinner, which was 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, right.
And but it was the journey. It was more of, it wasn't the
experience.
It was the whole journey that came to whether you were successful, or it was about something else, or it wasn't just about the kill shot.
Right. And truthfully, I think that's kind of where we as outdoorsmen and women that's one of the reasons we do what we do. And obviously we want to put meat on the table. It's the thrill of the chase and that ultimate moment when we take that shot, but it's also about the people we surround ourselves with.
Right, exactly.
The struggles we have getting to that point of pulling the trigger, and just all those things culminating together. So
nice. and you can go see all these videos. I think they released them on YouTube.
Oh, they already have?
I think. Okay. You can go check, but check them out on YouTube. And like the girl's video was all about her dad and the success that her dad had. And Chris Kreiner is absolutely right. ATA is a crazy show. He hopes he can make it again sometime. You can walk and walk and walk and still not see everything.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, you're right. And I got to talk to our Rebel 6 friends over there.
Yeah. Whatever happened with that?
Oh, yeah, I got some more talking to do with him.
We need to get him on the show.
We are.
Good,
I'll
good,
talk with him,
good.
And then we're going to get him on the show. And he'll probably make the trip up because he is just north of us about 10 miles.
Okay, right on. So he's here in the area.
Yeah, he's close by.
Good. Bring him over to the studio here.
He better bring some food.
That would be nice.
Right?
That would be good.
We're going to make a deal out of that. But yeah, and then that was Friday night, and then we still had to get in on Saturday, which we thought was going to be just a nice, easy into the
wrong.
Which this was a cool part. The guys at PSE being really nice that they were. Again, interviewed Hess. Dennis Hess.
Yes.
Great story between him and his co-partner, how it's all started, becoming, we think, one of the top 10 dealers for PSE, how that all got started.
Archery School of the Rockies.
You modeled the hat for him. It was beautiful, too.
Have you noticed that the top of that hat is actually a target?
I really haven't paid attention. Is it?
Yes. I'll have to bring it in next week and show you. And yeah, it's a target. It's a target, yeah. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So,
any exciting after-hour stories you can talk well, if we can't talk about them, we're not going to bring them up here.
Yeah.
But you know what? We did have a conversation that it was about the films.
Yeah.
And some people felt that the films were lacking.
yeah, we were at Hard Rock, and we kind of hung out with a group of guys that were friends with Dan Yasa, and some were with PSE, and some were with some other groups, and we were all sitting around the dinner table talking. And you know, being that Danny and I and a couple of other guys were kind of the older of the group,
we were.
you know, and then you had the younger guys, probably in their mid-20s ish, and they really wanted to see the kill flicks. You know, that was their interest. Where us older guys were more in tune with that journey and that progression of friends, family,
Yeah.
and
The whole story.
conservation, the whole story. So it was interesting to see generational expectations of what was supposed to
Right.
happen. in the films.
They made mention that some of they just didn't go far enough. And
Yeah.
well, it didn't have the kill shot. Well, that wasn't the point.
Yeah.
But it, like you said, it was great to have that conversation. Great, you know. And guess what? We had a conversation. We didn't get mad at each other.
Right.
We didn't. Yeah. Right.
You know, wrapping up the show here, I just want to end on this point here.
Before you go there, I have to mention lacrosse graphics. We met Steve Marsolik.
That's right.
We met him on Thursday at a lunch table,
Eating lunch.
right? And then later on, we met him at the bar just by running him into.
Yeah.
And you know what? We've been in contact, and he showed me some bucks that he got in Wisconsin. Wow.
Well, speaking on that note, Wisconsin, you know, they're dealing with CWD a lot more extensively than we are here in Michigan. I noticed some stuff today. Let's just say it was on Facebook. That's all. I'm not going to go into what groups or who it was or whatever. But I see people battling, these two sides battling. For, against, middle, either or, you know, whether it's baiting, whether it's food plots, whether it's big buck, little buck, CWD, not CWD. Guys, gals, we're beating our own selves up here. And it's really sad. I mean, we see it every day in the media, number one, and I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on. We've got to have some common civility anymore within this country, and especially within our own ranks, because I tell you what, they say we're down to, 4% of the American population are hunters and outdoorsmen. We're outnumbered. And if we don't stick together and find some common ground to where we can debate, we can talk, but my gosh, why are we fighting each other?
Right. And I had a conversation Friday night, and you know I was Friday night, and who I talked to. Had a different look on it, and I think his look is spot on.
Yeah.
And hopefully down the road we'll be
Get him
talking
on the
with
show.
him. We'll
Yeah.
have him on the show. But Matt Howard, ATA is where I had my very first glass of Jim Beam. It must have been okay because he still remembered it.
That's right. It must have been one glass and not multiples. So
That's right, Doug. Stop arguing and go hunt.
absolutely. Well, speaking of that, I think we're going to wrap up the podcast right now. We got to get to the archery range, and we've got
45 minutes.
45 minutes, and it's a good 30-minute drive from here. So we're going to wrap up the show. That'll do it for us this week, folks. We'll be back again next week. Don't forget, share the show. Tell your friends, tell your family about us, and have them join us next week here on the Up North Journal. Y'all take care until next week.